Raylan, thank you. April is National Donate Life Month, and today Singing River Health System partnered with the Mississippi Organ Recovery Agency to honor organ donors across the Gulf Coast. 3 flag-raising ceremonies were held in Gulfport, Ocean Springs, and Pascagoula, bringing together healthcare workers, donor families, and transplant recipients. This event aims to raise awareness about the life-saving impact of organ donation and encourage more people to register. For one local mother, the message is deeply personal.
I even remember feeling after they told us he had passed that we didn't even get to help anyone else, or it was just done. There was nothing further. On the way home, we received the phone call about donating his heart valves, and I immediately said yes.
Cartwright says after losing her 4-year-old son in a tragic drowning, her family made the decision to donate his organs, helping save lives in the middle of unimaginable loss. Organizers say more than 100,000 people nationwide are still waiting for transplant, and one donor can save up to 8 lives.